Hello everyone! Today we are officially going to showcase the last remaining metro line on the proposed or conceptual metro network for the Portland-Vancouver metropolitan area. And that is going to be the quote-unquote sunset line. But my last one, which is overviewing the entire network, minus this line and minus the original line that had its own standalone video where I was in live time making a line that connected downtown Portland to downtown Vancouver. This one is not a concept, unlike all the others. This is not a concept that I have came up with. This is actually apparently a potential plan by TriMet that they've hatched already as of actually 3 years ago. So basically, this is like an alternate version of a West Side Blue Line Max train, except with the difference being is that once it gets to Sunset Transit Center over here, it's just going to continue along Sunset Highway to the west. But, of course, this was proposed by TriMet as a light rail line, so another MAX line. However, it's stupid in every way. I do not personally like this concept. I think that it's actually useless and stupid even to have a metro line like this. But if it happened, it should, of course, be exclusively a metro line and not at all a light rail line. And it should definitely be fully grade separated, like all of my metro line concepts are. So this is my adaptation of their concept of TriMet's proposal, but with, of course, it being a metro line, fully grade separated. So here's the quick key for my metro system mapping here on Google Earth. The orange means tunnel. The green, the lime green or electric green, whichever you want to call it, that indicates a transfer, basically transferring from, as you can see here, the orange to the purple. The purple is a viaduct, just like the orange is indicative of a tunnel. So that's a transfer point between two different track types or two different elevation planes, basically. So we have the tunnel here starting in downtown Portland, and it will, in fact, it's directly outside the Wells Fargo Center right here. So it's kind of outside PCC as well, or PCC, Portland State as well. And then, of course, it's going to tunnel underneath the hill, and it's going to transfer up onto viaduct as soon as it can along the side of Sunset, so it can, of course, travel along and over that of Sunset Highway. And then it's going to end up, of course, going to Sunset Transit Center, transferring back into a tunnel, and it's basically just going to keep doing that for most of its way. In fact, it's going to be mostly viaduct. But where and when it feels the need to tunnel, so it can get back in the median and such, that's when it's going to, of course, go into tunnels. So this is the basic idea and concept. And in fact, the stations should be showing, and they are. So this is probably actually going to be its last station, because I have a video, and I'll again link it and put it up in the cards and everything, so in the upper corner of the screen, that was a proposal, a joint stadium district proposal I had, because both the Hillsboro Hops, which are owned by the Arizona Diamondbacks, they, of course, with the new rule changes in the MLB, need a brand new stadium in order to continue operations as a team. Well, so did PDX Diamond Project. The PDX Diamond Project has been around for quite a while. In fact, it's been around for, I think, since around 2012, because I believe that was 2012 or maybe it was 2014, to try to bring the MLB to Portland, to PDX. And so they, of course, have been hunting for a location for a stadium. And of course, they want to make it into a stadium district, because that's just the nature of sports right now. It's very, very lucrative for the sports and these franchises as a business to also build entire districts around their place, whether it's the hospitality, so it's the leisure and the recreational stuff, the bars, and of course the hotels, or it is literal housing or whatever else. Technically, you're paying into the team to work, live, or put your business there. That's why I figured, long story longer, they could put it up and the joint stadium district idea, because again, it's both MLB too. So I feel like the MLB would have really supported it and backed it up, because again, it's even more cost effective for the MLB. It's much quicker and easier for them. So naturally, I feel like they would have supported this concept very much. The point is that you'd have your full stadium, joint stadium district between the two teams. So you'd have your Hop Stadium here, and you would have your MLB stadium here. And then you have your districts built around it. And of course, half of that would probably be residential. The other half would be probably hospitality and leisure. And I've known for well over a decade that the city of Hillsboro has really been intentioned on buying this exact block of land north of 26, north of Sunset Highway, in Helvetia. So I figured this would incentivize the city and the county as well to just finally, bite the bullet and say, let's take the leap of faith. Let's buy the land. Let's do it, because then we can develop it alongside and in partnership with the two MLB teams. That was the basic idea and gist for that, which is why there is a transit center technically here. This is just the metro station, but there would be a transit center built around it and into it, so that, of course, it was multimodal. I also have a bus network video, in fact, 2 of them. Again, I highly recommend you check out that video. That will also be linked in the pinned comment, in the description, and probably in a card. That was the ultimate idea and gist and concept here for why this station even exists. In severing this line, because that makes it more realistic now that this is not really a thing, this would be the final stop on the west, and this stop would go in probably more likely, especially if you do have a transit center here, which it should be built there, especially considering it's going to be even bigger venue, and now it's going to apparently be able to host concerts up to 16 to 20,000 people able to attend concerts in a kind of a stadium slash amphitheater style conversion, and it's the whole stadium is going in here, so it's going to be pretty much twice the size of Ron Tonkin Field right now. And that's where the Hops will play. And it's actually currently under development. And then it gives even more reason to do this, because we have high school sports, we have state championships, we have a bunch of different things. Little League all happen here at the Gordon Faber Recreation Complex, or the Hillsboro Rec Complex, whatever you want to call it. And so as a result, there really should be a transit center here. Even more so, again, hint, hint, wink, wink, if you check out my video, and actually put in logical lines that have been needed for probably at least since the 80s to be put in here on the west side that would service that transit center, and thus, of course, would service this whole area. You have Leica in here, or Leica, I'm not entirely sure how you say the animation studio's name. They're the ones responsible for Coraline. You have, most famously, and I believe it's literally right here. And then you have a bunch of semiconductor plants and a bunch of semiconductor manufacturing facilities. You, of course, have PDX5, which I believe is this one right here, which is, of course, an Amazon facility. It is the biggest one on the west side of the Portland area. Obviously, you have Ronald Acres, right? And you have the big shopping districts and areas that exist specifically south of, on Butler here, and thus south of Cornell and west of Corntown. You have it here. You also have, I believe it's Workforce, I believe, is in these 2 buildings. That's big office complex. Of course, you still have a lot of residential. I mean, this is a Renko station, for Christ's sake. So it makes a hell of a lot of sense to make sure you do those bus lines and then have a transit center here for that reason as well. So theoretically, this station should be over there. That took me way too long to go through that. But yes, so that would be the west. This would actually be the westernmost stop at this point. And obviously, you'd have one here at 185th, and slash Evergreen slash Bronson. And then, of course, you'd have another one over here at Cornell slash Bethany Boulevard. And then another logical placement would obviously be here at Murray, right? Yeah, Murray Boulevard, because that's Home Depot. And then, obviously, the next one would be Sunset Transit Center. And then you'd have the next one being quite literally the last one, which, of course, is the one here in downtown Portland. You don't actually see the station, which is outlined here because it's on a different metro line. But that is, as short as possible, my adaptation of the concept that TriMet apparently has, where they want to put in a new Max line. Instead, this would be my conversion to a metro line to serve the Sunset Corridor. And as far as I didn't really keep count, but I think that's 5 stations total. That's it. Do I personally think this is a station a line that should be implemented under any capacity? Absolutely not. I could not disagree with him more. I know I said it before, but I feel like it needs to be said again. This is just a stupid waste of taxpayer money to do something as stupid as this. If you're going to do anything that serves the West Side better, it should be, well, the first thing that should happen before anything, and it should have happened before the Better Red went through, because I literally live pretty much right off of 185th and Baseline, and it's a fucking mess. Now that it was already a bad shit show, and it's so much worse with the Better Red than the Red Line being pulled out here, because now there's twice as many trains, twice as frequently. You'd think that'd be a good thing, but in the long run, it's a terrible thing, literally because of how bad the orientation is. And so why I mention that is because it's important and imperative, because I should have done it then, before, but now it needs to be fixed even more so. This has got to go. They need to fucking either pull 185th underneath the tracks, or more likely and more logically, raise the bridge over Willow Creek here and start it further back, therefore, so that it raises higher and just high enough to let truck clearance and everything, of course, go over 185th and bring it back down into the damn transit center. Like, they need to do that. They at least need to focus on intersections like these, or, you know, crossings like these, and fix them, because they're such a problem. They need to fix it. It literally is inhibitive to the functionality of the entire MAX system, technically. It's just horrific. And you do not want to know what it's like to be a pedestrian in this area, let alone to be somebody to drive through this, especially with the addition of the damn red line. It was already bad before. It's so bad now. It fucks the entire light cycle up. And that means it also screws up, yes, for pedestrians. And when you're driving through this, again, because of how unsafe it is, they immediately move to ban left turns off of eastbound baseline to go up northbound 185th. So you have to go all the way around here and then go up through here. And with the arrogance of drivers and the fact they won't repaint the fucking line, the stop line over here for everybody to indicate you need to stop because there's a fucking light here for a reason. Not that anybody cares, because a lot of people will blow the red light anyway because they don't want to fucking wait for us to turn off this road. Fuck us. They're going to go occupy that space instead. They literally go and like defensively go and take up the spaces so that we can't exit even if we have a green light. And sometimes you have to wait here for literal multiple signals just to maybe have a safe enough amount of time to get your damn car out there and into the damn lane. But no, they couldn't leave it alone. They couldn't help but make it so much worse by putting in and deciding to zone this so that it could be developed into a 3-story apartment complex. Why? What the fuck, man? So, that's a little mini rant to preface that they need to do that first. They should have already done it, but they need to do it first before the logical thing, instead of this sunset line, is to pull this out west, past Hatfield Government Center, and go all the way in to downtown Forest Grove. That's what should happen at that point. After they fix those crossing problems and conflicts, they need, and separate them, they need to fucking pull the MAX line. If we're going to put any of our taxpayer money into more MAX stuff, this is exclusively the one and only and the very last MAX project that we should ever support, is to pull the MAX line out to downtown Forest Grove. A lot of people probably think that's redundant because you already have the 57 and it is technically on frequent service, and I believe it's still 24-hour service as well now, even though obviously it's not frequent service the entire time, but still, logistically, you need to give people as many choices as possible. So if you can also have 2 different modes of transit, and one has way fewer stops, of course, being in this case a rail line, so a light rail line, MAX, and then the one has very frequent stops because it's a bus line, a local bus line, naturally, about half of the users of the 57 will probably adopt the MAX, and then vice versa, for the very same reasons. It depends on your needs and where you're trying to go. So you'd obviously have a stop for the West Side MAX over here in downtown Forest Grove. You'd probably have one somewhere in downtown Corntown here. And then obviously you connect back up to the Hatfield Center over, I believe it's like right here. I think. I'm definitely close because there's the jail. Yeah, it's right here. Yeah, it's literally right here. This is... it can be way far out and I just immediately know exactly where to go. I love that. But anyway, yeah, so then connect, of course, right there. Simple. So you just add 2 extra stops. One in Corntown, preferably downtown, of course, since they're aggressively expanding south and into more farmland and what little fucking wetland and ecosystems we have left. Fucking goddamn it. And then, of course, downtown Forest Grove. And that should be where the money goes, rather than building another MAX line or a metro line that fucking just goes along a fucking freeway. That is a terrible, terrible idea. I guess it's technically in their mind, it's probably similar to the green line because the green line just runs along 205 the whole fucking time. So, like, I guess. Feel free to check out those other videos. Again, will be linked in the description, in the cards, and of course in the pinned comment down below. And let me know what you think about TriMet's concept of running a stupid MAX line, that's this line technically, along Sunset Highway. please don't hold back. If you really are against it, do not hold back. Go all out. I want to see a absolutely vicious spit roast, if at all possible. So this one is not so serious to me. This is literally just put in, again, as an adaptation of the Max Line proposal from TriMet themselves, along 26, and that's it. If I had my way, I would make sure this isn't even thought about as a possibility, a consideration by a planning team. Literally ever. Because it's that fucking shit of an idea. The rest of them, though, are my concepts. This is the only one that's not. And again, I highly recommend you watch this video right here. That one I highly recommend you watch. And apparently it already got pretty rave reviews off the bat, which really surprised me. So yeah, I did not like how I made that one. I thought even with the editing, which made it much more improved from where it was, I still was not happy with how that came out. I felt like I could have done way better, especially considering that I could have literally done my extra little bit of due diligence and not been so fucking lazy, and actually looked on Google Maps, not Earth, for the neighborhoods and the streets and everything, so that way I could properly name each station and you'd know where they actually were fucking located, rather than just me being like, yeah, there's one here, another one here, and here. Like, you're at the doctor's office, so they're just like, breathe in. Again. Again. One more time. Where I crudely just ended up looking it up while editing and putting the fucking names of the places and stations in manually via the text in DaVinci. Like, for fuck's sake. I was not happy about it. But surprisingly, apparently people didn't seem to mind. They actually thought it was... The genuine reviews were fantastic. So I don't know how the fuck that happened. I think you're all delusional, but that's okay. Anyway... It's not an insult, just a statement of observation. Anyway, yeah, so feel free to watch that video so you can see the rest of the network. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you check out those other videos, and I hope to see you around for the next batch of urbanism/transit videos. I still have more to come from Cascadia, because of course, as a Cascadian, I want to actually give my perspective, and as a transit whore, I want to be an urbanist. I want to be able to give my insight, my perspective, my concepts to building out a proper, in this case, rail system. I already did the West Side expansion of bus systems because I'm a bus biased person. I like big bus, and I cannot lie. The other writers can't deny. But yeah, I'm very biased to bus transit. But again, I already have a Cascadia ultra high speed rail concept out. I want to focus next on building out my regional rail networks, and thus IC, so intercity, and ICE, Intercity Express, or ICE, rail networks as well for the Cascadia bioregion. Well, specifically, obviously the most populated is the western half of it, because the logistics of, getting through mountains is kind of prohibitive, even with imagination. Because the amount of money that would cost is fucking insane. And the geology and everything, it's not feasible. Even if you were utopian about it. So that said, I want to thank you all so much for watching once again. Be on the lookout for those videos. And we'll see what other ones I come up with on this topic in the near future. Stay safe out there, and I hope to see you around. Goodbye.